Welcome back, students. I hope you have completely understood that previous lecture that was about Gauss's law and electric field and electric flux. You have to complete these two tasks that are related to the numericals. These numericals I have explained both of the numericals and both of the formulas in my previous video. So you just have to calculate these numerical ones for a charge that is enclosed in a sphere, and second time for a charge that is enclosed in a cylinder. For sphere and for cylinder you have both formulas, values are same, you have to just calculate and write here the solution of your questions. And for the task that you have to perform on a simulator, these are the questions. Simply you have to write the answers of this question in the form of yes, no, or positive, negative, yes, no. Just like these, you have to simply write here some answers. You can easily find these answers by monitoring them on this simulation. Students, the simulation of Gauss's law, I have not found any simulation in FET website. There are all simulations and all experiments, but I have not found anyone that is more relevant to Gauss's law and these sphere and cylinder related things. So for the understanding of charges, you can just watch this experiment, charges and fields. I have opened it here, and for the question, for the answers of these questions, I have found another simulation. I will share link with you guys, so you just have to visualize that simulation, so you can find the answers of this question from that simulation. So first, what are charges and how a charge produced an electric field? This thing can be seen here in this simulation. Charges, you will find this simulation in physics and electricity and magnets, and here charges and fields. So charges and fields, this is here blank field, this is yes. So I just put this one charge from here to this screen. This is a charge, and that charge is showing me these arrows, which these arrows are basically the electric field produced by this charge. Here I can see the direction, no, voltage. That red color is the voltage produced by this charge. As we move away from the charge, the field is also getting light, and the voltage and the value of the voltage will be also getting lowered. We can see the value of voltage from this voltage meter, and like you can see here, the voltage is very to 22.48. As we measure voltage very close to the charge, this is 22.48, and when I measure this voltage from away from the charge, it is 1.651. So as long as the voltage and as long as the field is concerned, the field around this charge is very strong, and when we move away from the charge, our field and our voltage are getting low. The values, both values are decreasing as we move away from the charges. So this is a charge and this is a negative charge. So in the case of negative charge, you can see the electric field is coming outward from positive charge, and the electric field and electric lines are coming inward in at the negative charge. So you just have to visualize this thing, that how the electric field is produced from these charges, and we don't have any surface here that we can show the electric flux. Like if we have some option of a surface here, we just put that surface in perpendicular this charge or in perpendicular to this charge, and we can easily monitor our flux, that these electric fields are passing through that surface and this is our flux. So we don't have this surface here. So for calculating the flux and for visualizing the flux, I have just found this simulation. In this simulation, you can see that we have two red dots are basically the positive charges, and two blue dots are basically the negative charges. We can change the values of these positive and negative charges by changing this cursor here. If I move it from if I move it on right side, I will make it a positive charge, and if I move it on the next side, on the left side, I will make it a negative charge. So I just set it at 0 value, and also here this also 0, and this one also 0. So I just have this one charge, this is a positive charge. So I can also move my block. This is a square block. I have explained you two cases, a case of a cylinder and a case of a sphere. I have not found any cylinder or any sphere, so I just have found it here a square block. You can consider it as a cylinder, like you have a round cylinder, and inside the cylinder there is a square shape area in which your charge is present. This charge is producing an electric field. How can I move this charge? Just a second. Yes, this is my charge. So as here you can see, in this red color is a positive charge, and the lines, the electric field is coming outward from this charge. So in this case I can't see these lines of force. When I move it closer to the surface, I can see that these are the green lines that are coming outward this charge, and at all the edges of the surface, all edges shows that these lines of force are getting outward from this charge. And when I move this charge inside the surface, if I just like this charge is now inside the surface. So you can see these arrows showing me that this electric field coming outward from this charge is passing through that surface area, passing through that surface area, passing through this surface area and this surface area. All four areas, my electric field is passing through all four areas. So all four sides are showing me different flux. This is showing 55.62, this is showing 49.4, similarly 55.62 and 65.29, and my net flux is 225.94. So now I'm just going to turn on another positive charge like this is another positive charge, and I'm going to move this charge inside this surface area. You can see when I have moved another positive charge inside the surface, my net flux is increased from 225 to 451, and the individual flux on all four sides, thus each side flux is also increased. So you can see when the charge inside the surface area is increased, the flux is also increased. From here you can see that the flux depends upon the magnitude of the charge that is inside the surface area. Like when there was a charge of just 2 coulomb, there was a net flux of 225, and when I have put another 2 coulomb charge, the total become 4 coulomb, my net flux is increased. Now I'm going to insert a negative charge, like this is the third one, negative charge, and you will just see that the net flux is 451, and when I put this inside, my flux is reduced from 225. So the magnitude of net flux is totally depending upon the magnitude of charges. So here if I put another negative charge, a negative charge of -2 coulomb, so my net flux is 0. You can see that +2 is equal to 4 2, and -2 is equal to -4. So +4 and -4, my because of total magnitude of charges is 0, my net flux is also 0. So here you can answer all of these 5 questions by just visualizing this simulation and moving these charges. You can answer all of these 5 questions. Just like first question is, under what circumstances the net flux is 0, positive and negative. So when is the net flux 0? Net flux is 0 when all of the charges inside the surface are having 0 magnitude, 0 total sum, like +2 +2, -2 -2. The sum of the charges is 0, so the net flux is also 0. So when will be the flux inside will be positive? The flux will be positive if the total charges are greater than the negative charges. Like here I have just moved some charges, that the +2 is equal to +4, and -0.9 and -1.3 will become like -2.8. So the positive charges are dominant, so my net flux is also positive. So net flux will be positive if positive charges are dominant, and net flux will be negative if negative charges are dominant. So you can also answer the other questions. You just have to move your charges, you have to move your surface area, and you can get answers by all these answers of all these questions. So here is the part of your flux and your column of your कौन सा law था ये, Gauss's law. So Gauss's law is completed here. The next thing that you have to discuss was the working of a capacitor. So right now I'm moving to the working of a capacitor. Why we are discussing working of a capacitor? Because the capacitor is also linked with charges. A capacitor is also linked with electric fields, because you can you just say that a capacitor is a device that stores electric charges, that stores electric field, and deliver that electric charges to the load. and you can visualize it by using this simulation of FET simulator, that is capacitor lab basics. You have to open this capacitor lab basic. It will be run on this simulator online. A capacitor lab basic is just like this. I have to open this first part, capacitor, and you can see here a capacitor is a metallic a capacitor is an electrical component that is just made of two metal plates. This is the first metal plate and this is the second metal plate, and between these metal plates there is a dielectric material. In this case here, there is no dielectric material here, it is just air. And when I will turn on the charges from this side, I have turned on the charges, I have turned on the battery voltage 1.5 volts. Because of this 1.5 volts, my this plate is positively charged and my second plate is negatively charged. So there is no dielectric material. So this capacitor will not store any charge. It just have this positive polarity and negative polarity because of this battery. And here I can see my capacitance, that is 0.30 picofarad. I can increase this capacitance by increasing the size of the plate, yes, and I can decrease this capacitance by increasing the distance between two plates. Capacitance depends upon the capacitance is directly proportional to the area of the plate. If I increase the area of the plate, my capacitance also increased, and if I decrease the area of plate, my capacitance is decreased. And capacitance is inversely proportional to the distance between plates. If I decrease distance, my capacitance is increased, and if I increase distance, my capacitance is decreased. So capacitance has a directly proportional relation with the area of plates and inversely proportional relation with the distance between two plates. So I just here turn on voltages are already turned on, and I can see if there is an electric field. Yes, electric field is moving from positive to negative side, but you can see it by these negative arrows. And you can also measure the voltages that are just converted that are just delivered from this battery to these plates. This is the multimeter, voltmeter. You can measure the voltages by moving this right side positive probe on this positive plate and this negative probe on negative side. You can see 1.5 volts. As 1.5 volts were delivered from this battery, these 1.5 volts you are measuring them on these plates. And if you just remove the battery, this you have removed the battery, there are these 1.5 volts that are stored permanently in this capacitor. Now these voltages are stored in this capacitor. These voltage will be delivered to the load if there is a load on this side. That load is in this portion. There is a bulb here. You can just charge your capacitor with this battery you have charged, and by increasing this plate size by for maximum voltage store. 1.5 volts turn on the voltages, turn on the electric field. Now this capacitor is completely charged. I just move my probes here, and I calculate the voltages on this side, and on negative side you can see I charged my capacitor on 1.5 volts. Now this capacitor is totally charged on 1.5 volt. These voltages are now present inside the capacitor. These voltage will be delivered to the load if I just move my connection from this to this load. You see now my voltage are consumed by this load, and you can see the voltages are just slowing down, and now this positive charge is also getting low, and at the point this is over. So I again charge my capacitor is charged, and now I'm going to measure voltages on this value at load here, and moving this connection to the load. Why I'm not showing voltages? The probe was not connected. Yes, now the probe is still not connected. It is connected now. So charging capacitor is charged, and now delivering charges to the load, and voltages are also getting low. That's why the brightness of the bulb was also getting low and low. So what can we do to make this discharging time more greater? Like I charged my capacitor here, and when I put this capacitor for discharging and delivering voltages to this load, what can I do to increase this discharging time? You have to answer that question in report. If someone answered, that will be very good. If not, then I will just explain this phenomena in next labs, in next lectures. So here is your capacitor is also completed. So I hope you have understood both of the lectures completely. If there is any question, just comment here and I will reply your question. So thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.